So during the whole time in the tent, I would say, is really when the deep healing began. That was when I began to see the mind of my cell. I could actually witness a single cell, and I could see the intelligence in that cell.
So take us from the beginning. Tell us all about that.
I would start meditating. So mostly I spent 40 days meditating. And the rattlesnakes would show up, and the rabbits and the coyotes, and we'd all meditate together. It was just...
No cobra on your lap?
No cobra on my lap. No, but I did have a vision of a cobra biting me in my third eye.
Oh, okay.
That was pretty cool. Of course, Gabriel said I was hallucinating and delirious, which I could have very well been. But yeah, no, I would start meditating, and I would take myself through my body like little... I would visualize little Pac-Men, right? And that was one thing that game was really good for, that really dates me. And I would visualize little light beings going through my body, cleaning it and vacuuming it. And then as I was doing that, probably on about the 7th day or so, I actually saw these little bursts of light. Now remember, I had seen all the slides of the light that comes from the inside of our body, and I had never really accessed that before. And so now I'm actually witnessing these light bursts that are coming inside, that I'm seeing inside. And then I'm viewing, and they look like cells to me. Now, of course, I don't know what cells look like, but they look like cells to me. And Gabriel does live blood analysis, and so he had shown me I had absolutely no lymphocytes, none,
Whoa,
0. And he said I should have been dead. Period.
Yeah, well,
none. He was like he kept doing it over and over and over again because he said this just cannot be that you have none, and I had none. Like he could never find any. So I'm cleaning the cells, I'm with the light, and then I decide to pour more light in. Then I decide to match it. So that's how I began doing the journey of the light work and the light inside of myself, and then bringing the light in through the chakras and through the energy centers, and just enlivening and enlightening my body. And then I went through a period. Now I was in a lot of pain. It was a very painful cancer. And I did a lot of high 12 grams of vitamin C, IVs, and lots of other things. And so I did Sanum remedies from Germany. I did a lot of different kinds of stuff, okay? But I was in a lot of pain. And being out there alone in the desert is probably, and being in pain and being alone is probably, feeling alone is probably the closest I've come to feeling what a human being feels like.
Yes.
In being...
That feels disconnected.
That feels disconnected, that feels victimized, that, all of those feelings. And so I started witnessing it. I just allowed myself to detach enough and witness it. And that's where I contacted all of my familia generational victimhood. I mean, we're talking Irish and American Indian. I mean, you can't get much
tracking the
lineage back of all of that being tortured and all the things that happened to them, and the American Indians being annihilated and so on. And so I really contacted that, and I forgave it all, and I loved it all, and I kept going through it all, and I kept going back further, and I kept going back further, and I kept forgiving more and letting go of the anger, and for all beings in my family and generations. And then I went into my own pancreas, and I went into my own blood, and I got to see what I was carrying and holding emotionally. And I would say I spent probably a good 10 days just sobbing it.
Now, how did that show up? Did it show up as colors to you? You just immediately knew the emotion?
It was emotion. It showed up as in my feeling body, and it showed up as physical pain too. Yeah. And so I got to see how my physical pain was so connected to my emotional pain, and when I could be in the emotions. So one of the most important things that I learned is you can't transcend it, you can't transmute it, you can't
go through it.
Walk away from it, you can't eat it away, you can't drug it away, you can't sex it away, you can't anything away, you got to go into it. And this is the hardest part about healing for who comes to me. So anybody who comes, they can do a lot of the work, but when we get down to that emotional work and they have to be in it and dive in it and dive in the soup and experience it won't kill them. Mm-hmm. Because the belief is, this is so painful, I'm going to die. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact,
the fear of emotional pain.
Oh my God, the emotional pain was worse than any physical pain that I was experiencing. And what came to me was the sentence of, the worst thing here is going to be I won't die. That's how it felt. Uh-huh. It was like, oh no, I might not die. I might live, and I might have to live in this the rest of my life. And so I got to see where those belief systems of victims are. This is going to be always. You're born into it. This is who we are. This is what we're going to be. And certainly my mother believed that. Yes. I don't ever remember her having a happy day in her entire life. And that is no exaggeration.